Hey there, sports fans. How are you? I'm good, thank you. Because it's Thursday, and that means we got another round of Betfred Super League action. Welcome to. What's going on this? Welcome to the 10 Yards Back YouTube channel for my predictions for round 22 of the Betfred Super League 2025. I'm nicknaming this round the round of the loop because I think there are two games this round that aren't loop fixtures of some kind. Either they're the trilogy, or in the last game of the weekend, I think it is, it's the second of three. So this really is a loop round. So let's have a look at how the round shapes up. So we got kicking off on Thursday night. We got Warrington versus Catalans. Okay, cool. Wigan Hull KR on Friday. Oh, that's a good one. Castleford Leeds, Hull FC Leigh, Saints Huddersfield, and Salford Wakefield. Saints Huddersfield has been moved to Sunday for some reason. I'll put my tinfoil hat on about that a little bit later on. So if we look at how those matchups look, not super favourable if you look at like the actual numbers. I mean, the two that actually look the best, 1v2, obviously, Wigan versus Hull KR. 8 versus 9 looks appealing, but we'll get to that in a second. And then 6v3 is actually a pretty good matchup, Hull FC versus Leigh. So there's a couple of good games here, and a couple of some of these games appear to be low stakes, but there's a lot of pride at stake. I'll talk you through my thought process on that one. So for Thursday evening, kicking off the weekend, Warrington versus Catalans. We've seen this before, haven't we? We've seen it very recently. This year, the fixtures have been commented on, let's say, because they don't seem to have been very well thought out, and apparently they're not. Apparently they're just decided by a computer who looks at stadium availability and whatever. This is one of those where, so back in April, we had Saints play Warrington basically 3 times in 5 weeks or something like that, but it was great. We all loved it. Warrington had a real purple patch in their season, just battering Saints over and over again. I think we had Catalans versus Warrington 2 weeks ago, and we were done with it, I think, at that point. But this is at Halliwell Jones. Warrington have got their old kid for a quid or bring a friend for a tenner if you're a season ticket holder campaigns on. So hopefully, at least, there's one thing Warrington can do. It's fill a stadium. So hopefully they'll have some attendance there, some atmosphere, which is really what these Catalans games have been lacking over the past couple of weeks. In terms of the teams, 8 versus 9, but if you look at the league points, Warrington have 3 games up on them, and that they're all kind of, towards the back end of the season, I think. So Warrington have lost 3 in a row. Catalans have lost 5 in a row. The victory was like a nilling of Huddersfield, which was amazing. But that was like 6 weeks ago. So, we can't really rely on that. And Sam Tompkins was playing. Don't know if that's the case today. I'm not going to go really too into this. So the score prediction I've got is 28-18. I think for Wire, it might be a bit too late for their season. But who knows? Maybe you're doing some mental maths and say, wait, no, but if Wire win all 5 of these and Wakefield lose 3 of their remaining 5, then we're good. Then we're fine. I don't know. I'm looking at Williams and the Thulises for Wire. I think they need to pull some motivation from somewhere, which is something that weirdly Joel Tompkins has said about Catalans. They need to remember what they're doing, and I think for this game in particular, I'm looking at Theo Farge. This is Farge's last game in Super League, I think. He's 31, 32, something like that, and he's going to the French Rugby League. There is one. He's going to play in the French League. So I'm looking at Theo Farge, GAB, and Makinson. I think that there's going to be a lot of cover tackles need to be made. So I'm looking at GAB and Makinson here to just cover that full back line. And then maybe they can pull something off. I don't know. But 28-18 is what my system predicted. And so I'm just sticking with that on Thursday night. A nice way to ease into the weekend, perhaps, if Warrington can fill their ground. Friday, everyone. It's here. It's a game we've been waiting for a hell of a long time. The rematch. It's Wigan versus the Robins, Hull KR. The Battle of the Brick, it's been called, I think. That's the worst thing about this match, is that people are calling it the Battle of the Brick, I think. Why is it the Battle of the Brick? Why do Hull KR care if they get the brick? If that's what's at stake, they just want to win. I'm sure they'll let Wigan stay at the Brick Community Stadium if they lose. This is good because Wigan are basically at full strength. We're seeing Miski out there. We're seeing French out there again. They're missing Nsemba and Thompson still. That could play a part in their downfall here. I don't know if it happens. KR got a couple of names out, but it doesn't really matter for KR. They've been so good this year at covering absences that it doesn't really matter. Game plans. This is a game of chess. This is the two best all year. Coming into the final throes of the season. They've been looking at this one for ages. I actually wonder whether Matty Pete has actually been okay with resting French for a little bit longer than he needed to make sure that he was okay for this game, because this is a spectacle. Everyone's thinking that this is the grand final, played 7 weeks earlier, or whatever it is. I think for Hull KR, they are a team that like to attack on the line, right at the line, with Mikey Lewis, just putting his safety on the line every week, taking balls in and passing them off. So an obvious place for KR to attack here would be that vacant second row spot where Nsemba's missing, because he's not had the best of form recently, Junior, but he is still a very dangerous player, and having him out is going to be, they're going to need to adjust. And hopefully Hull KR can capitalise on that adjustment that needs to be made and sort of expose it. For Wigan, one thing that I think that Wigan will have picked up on and will be trying to exploit here to gain territory is the fact that Artur Morg is a real running fullback. He's always right there in the mix during attack and defence. So I reckon we're going to see Harry Smith sort of taking control of this game, especially in the first 20-25 minutes, and kicking early, deep downfield to expose the fact that Morg may or may not be in that line. Now, these are professional players with professional coaches. They've probably thought of all this, and they'll just blow my plans out of the water. But that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm excited about. So the players I'm looking at, Wigan, Harry Smith, I think he's going to be key in this. Probably won't get man of the match because I don't think he often does. He's sort of unsung a little bit. French and Field, obviously. You can't argue with those once they're on the pitch. And I think Kieran, I might just be a Kieran fan, I don't know. But I think that the way that he plays in the centre to sort of control that little area of the field is going to be key, because we know that the Robins love to use those second row pivots right out to the halves, and they've usually got a really far out half wing combination, haven't they, the Robins? So I think Kieran could be in charge of sort of controlling that. KR, their players of interest. Broadbent, again, I'm just a fan. I think he can do anything. He's a jack of all trades, really, isn't he? Broadbent. Lewis, obviously, and Batchelor. Again, I think that it's going to be kind of Batchelor versus Kieran. I think Batchelor was playing in the centres last week. So we'll see. We'll see if he's there again. I'm sure he'll do a pretty good job. Score predictions: 20 points to Wigan, 26 points to Hull KR, the Robins. I think they'll do it. 6 points. Now, this is what I'm predicting here isn't the absolute values, it's the margin. I think just one try in it. It might not be so evenly divvied up as that. You know, people are going to be kicking penalties and things, so that might not be, you might not get to those points how you think. But I think 6 points is a fine prediction for this game. Must see TV on Friday night. The Battle of the Brick, I guess. Okay, that's the only game on Friday, so we move over to Saturday afternoon with Cass versus the Rhinos. What do we say about this one? It's Saturday afternoon, at least, you know, enjoy it. Saturday afternoon rugger, who doesn't like that? I feel like this could be Castleford's grand final here, because they've not got anything else, have they? They've not got anything left, really, in the season. And it's a kind of a case of what can they do. Last week we saw a Castleford side that was basically, you know, mothballed. It was just picked apart, wasn't it? We had Westerman in the halves. Zach Sini was missing. Fletcher Rooney's gone for the season. I just wonder if they're going to pack up early for the year, but you know, who knows. I noticed that this is at Castleford's ground, which is now called the Onbor Stadium or Onbor Stadium. What is it with Castleford and piping companies and places? So they went from Menderhose, which I'm guessing is a hose business, to the Onbor, which is a pipe company. Maybe it's the same business, just to just change names. I don't know, but it just seems weird. But anyway, this pitch that they're playing on Saturday is notoriously a short pitch. I don't understand how that's allowed, but it is. It's a short pitch. So what that means, I think, is that Jake Connor is going to kick them to death. Connor has really impressed me this year with really high hanging kicks, which scrabble defences and get attacking players. Defences and get your players, the attacking players at that point, right up on you. I wonder whether Castleford are even going to make 800 metres in this game. I think Leeds are going to smother him, and to that effect, I think we're looking at Connor for the kicks, Watkins for. I mean, again, Watkins is a bit of a Superman this year, isn't he? He's gone back to Leeds basically with a point to prove, like, hey, I'm back and I can do everything. And Edgel, who is doing really well, doing really well out there on the wings. Ryan Hall is obviously on the other wing. He's a legend, isn't he? He himself is a Superman, but he's not quite as spry as the youngsters. So I think Edgel here is going to be in charge of sort of those chase downs and things like that. So look out for him. Score prediction here, I got 28-6 to Leeds. It's just a difficult one for Castleford, isn't it? My formula actually predicted 28-12. I've taken a try off Cass because honestly, I just don't know how they're going to do it with what they've got. So we'll leave it there. I'll leave it up to you to decide on that one on Saturday afternoon. So moving on to Saturday evening, this is a good one as well. Like I said, it doesn't look good on the 3 versus 6. They're easy going to win. But this game has been a very interesting one. This is the only actual draw of the season, hence those league those league points 23 and 29. The only draw so far, of course, it was Divot Gate. So I think Hull FC actually won that one back in round 2004, was it, or something like that, ages ago now, a whole other life ago. And the second time they played, Hull beat them, I think it was 26-12. So Hull have got the upper hand here. Leigh lost last week to Leeds, but they are absolutely still one to watch. One's for you, Simon. And yeah, still one to watch. My score prediction for this, I'll just go in 24-18. I think Hull FC are going to shock us all on this one and do it. The reason being, John Asiata's back, and Will Price, I think, is still back. I haven't seen anything to the contrary of that. And I think the combination there, they've been waiting all year to sort of unload their weapons here, and haven't been able to at full strength for a while. So having Price and Asiata back, I think, is going to do a real good job. For me, the way I see this playing out, or the way I hope it plays out, is you've got that Hull wall, that wall of black and white, like we say, versus a really agile Leigh squad. I think Lachlan Lamb has something like 30 or 32 try assists this year. They're going to need it today. They're going to need those mobile, agile pivots like Ipape, Lamb, to make them expansive, make them as expansive as they can be, to scrabble that Hull defence, and we'll just see if Hull can recover in time. So that's kind of the battle I'm looking forward to. And to that note, players I'm watching out for here: Leigh, we got Lamb, Lou, and Hodgson, Bailey Hodgson, the fullback, the young fullback. Hull FC, Asiata, SASA, and as much as it pains me to say, because I'm not his biggest fan, Davy Litton. He's playing the centre position quite uniquely at the minute. He doesn't play centre like anybody else does. He's really, really agile with it. He's almost a very straight runner, but makes crazy lines in doing so. I don't really understand it myself, but he's an interesting player to watch. I think the dynamic here between Isaac Liu and John Asiata will be an interesting one, because when Asiata left Leigh last year, everyone said, oh, well, they're never going to replace him. You know, there's no way you can find another player like that. And I think Isaac Liu is kind of similar to Asiata. He's perhaps not as sort of bulky as him, but he's still very agile, still very much a ball-playing loose forward. So I think that battle there in the middle is going to be a real, real good one to watch out for. Sunday afternoon, the moved game. This game itself is a case of by how many? How many are Saints going to win by? Because I don't think that Huddersfield can do this. It doesn't mean they can't put on a good show and be proud of themselves afterwards, but I don't think they can win this one. It's been moved to Sunday. I wonder if it's moved to Sunday because Sky are sort of thinking, maybe there won't be a game on Sunday because of the goings on over at the AJ Bell Stadium. Anyway, so in this game, it's going to be. I think this is going to be a good one to watch if you're a Saints fan. It'd be a good one to watch if you're a rugby league fan in general, because I'm looking forward to seeing what this Huddersfield team can do. Saints have beat them pretty badly in the season so far. Definitely got the upper hand. And it's looking like the form at the minute is telling you that Saints are going to run all over them. But I've been seeing signs of Huddersfield lately. Not quite the signs that I thought I would see. Maybe 5 or 6 weeks back when I was saying, "Oh, is it just too early for Huddersfield? Is it just too early?" I think we're going to next season for them for sure. But there are players like Flanagan who's doing wonderful things, and Jacob Gagai who can do great things. I'm going to be on the lookout for them and to see if they can link up a bit better, what they're going to do. I mean, I think Flanagan is necessary to this Huddersfield game here, because they need that cover defence. Saints look like they can score from anywhere at the minute, the last couple of games they've had. And we're going to need Flanagan. I think this could be one of the best performances of Flanagan's career if he lets it be, if he rises to the occasion. So we'll see how it goes. On the Saints end, Saints have basically coming up now after this one, basically got 4 playoff games. I'm not sure of the order, but they got, I think it might be Hull FC, Leigh, Wigan, Hull KR, and then Castleford to finish the season. So Saints have got a real rough run coming up. I wonder if they're going to use this game as a bit of a tester out, because I don't know if Wellesby is back, but you know, Wellens has got some real selection problems at Saints at the minute coming into these final 4, final 5, and if he gets them wrong, then you know, people are not going to be happy if Saints slip any positions here. So I've already said Flanagan. I'm interested to see whether Burgess plays in this one. Last weekend, Alex Walmsley had a cracking run out. Matty Lees and Morgan Knowles are on fire, as always. So I'm wondering whether Burgess is going to play at all. He was 18th man last week, so let's wait and see on that one. For Saints, I want to see some linkage. I want to see Mbai linking up with the wings. I want to see Lomax and Robertson, see what they can do as sort of a running pair. And you know, are we going to see Wellesby? Who knows? Score prediction 28-8. I don't think Huddersfield will get nothing. They might get 2 tries unconverted because they seem to be able to pull something off every week, don't they? Whether it's you know, whether it's a firework or not, they can always do something. So that's your early Sunday afternoon game. Now let's go over to the AJ Bell Community Stadium. I don't know. For the Sunday evening game. So I'm just going to come out here and give the score prediction straight away. 40 points to 6. I'm wondering whether that's going to be 40 points to 0, to be honest, because last weekend in a Scrabble, last-minute Scrabble, Salford were just borrowing players from everyone on 1-week loans. Imagine being on a 1-week loan to a club. I remember being a kid, maybe under 16s or something like that, and went to go play at Accrington, which is a small town or something nearby, and I don't even think this team had like the Accrington Bears or something. It was just Accrington, I think, just Accrington Rugby League Club, and we had to lend them 2 players because they didn't have enough to fulfill a squad. I cannot believe that is happening on a professional level, and it's no comment on the players, those who are out on loan or those who've stuck by the club. It's all to do with the management. This week, clubs are saying we're not doing that. We're not letting this go on any further, and I think it's because it's a Salford home game. Everyone's saying that the reason Salford haven't folded and just backed out the competition is because of Sky money. I don't think that's necessarily true. The Sky deal is up. It's going to be renewed soon or whatever. It's going to happen with it soon. I don't think it's broadcast money that people are worried about. I think it's gate money and, kiosk money, bums in seats money. The fact that this is a home game for Warrington, for Salford, I think that this is where the other clubs stick up for themselves and say, right, okay, it's not hurting our bottom line anymore. We'll just see what happens here now. We'll just let them fold. And next week, if the Salford, I don't know who Salford play next week, if it's an away fixture, you watch those players come flooding in to fulfill that away fixture, because the 11 remaining clubs are going to stand together against Salford and make sure that they can fulfill their away fixtures but not their home fixtures, because that hurts the Salford ownership and not anybody else. This is my tinfoil hat version of events. I don't know that's the case, but that is what I would imagine. I mean, I think I remember Eamon McManus once on a podcast or interview somewhere saying that a sold out home fixture for Saints is £500,000. That's a nice chunk of change. That now these Salford fixtures are not going to be sold out, but if it's half sold out, 250 grand, a quarter sold out, 125 grand. It's a lot of money, that, especially if, like Saints or whoever, you own the stadium, and therefore your overheads are your own. All right, this is getting a bit away from the rugby, but I'm just wondering what's going to happen with this fixture on Sunday. Are they going to make it? Are they going to not make it? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. All right, they're my predictions, everyone, for round 22. Oh, coming in now, getting close, of the Betfred Super League round 22, 2025. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think below. I've made some pretty outlandish claims there and some shocking admissions. So let me know what you think. Enjoy the round, and I will see you next week for my humble pie.